Here's why you should have your cameras out right now and how it'll help you predict the rut, whether you're going to have a doe come into estrus early or late. Here's how. Here we go. This spring quickly just kind of flew by here, but it's May. And let's talk about some tips that may be on the top of your mind for people maybe getting some cameras out, or just something for them to remember as they put them out here a little bit later.
Yeah. I think oftentimes, man, May/June guys are like on the fence about putting cameras out because they don't think there's any tangible information to gain. Like everybody, guys that have a lot of cameras are still running some cameras in May, right? Just because they have them around, they want to get pictures of deer. They, whether it's a hobby or whatever, just pure enjoyment, I guess. But I was browsing through some of our older YouTube content, and we did a video a year or two ago about running cameras on new parcels. So like, for instance, someone just got a parcel or got access to a parcel this spring. They have no historical information on the deer hunting side of that come fall. And one of the things that you can do in May and June is get your cameras out and try to obtain some fawn crop photos of when those fawns are being born. And it's not necessarily to say, yeah, those are getting bred, the first 2 weeks of November, like we get it, right? But if you're able to catch an early born fawn and then backdate that 201 days, the gestation period of a whitetail, you could see that doe was bred early in October, or vice versa. If it's, if you get a late born fawn running, into June, the end of June, maybe even July, then that doe was bred late. So there's some things that you can learn from your fawn crop in May, June, and July that can give you some insight going into fall, which a lot of guys, including myself, even I should say some folks overlook that. And I think this first clicked for me, I don't know, I would probably say 4, 5, 6 years ago in an area that I was hunting on public, that I used to get a buck flurry of activity in January, like the first, I guess the tail end of December into January, and never put two and two together. And then the following year, I just noticed observations and trail camera photos of spikes, right? And I still didn't put it together until the following spring that buck flurry that we were seeing, that buck activity that we were seeing late December, early January, was because yearlings were coming into heat or coming into estrus, being bred. And that's what, like, those visual observations we were seeing of spikes was because of that, because those does were being bred, late born fawns turning into spikes their first antler season. So I think there are some conclusions you could draw from running trail cameras in May and June. I think that's a
big one. That's a really important one for sure.
It is,
to either anticipate something in the upcoming year or reaffirm what you saw last year. And then the other thing too is, if there's a buck right now that has ginormous bases and he's hitting a community scrape where a giant hit last year. I had this happen like a week or two ago. Okay, he lived. I got a pretty good idea who that is, more than likely. And so then you can kind of formulate a plan, or at least have a little bit more enthusiasm in your step of like, okay, he's alive. It's time to really get serious, rather than June or July and you're like, oh yeah, there he is. And then you lost 2 months.
Yeah, I think it is the enthusiasm aspect to it too. Like, you get a photo of giant bases and you're like, he's there, man. I got 2 months to really dial things in. Maybe it's with my bow, maybe it's with my gear before I get serious about, summer trail camera tactics. Yeah, 100%.